And so one thing that I'm highlighting is that never twist statistical findings. So whatever you're finding, you're not a lawyer, you're a consultant. So if the case is against the person who hired you, then so be it. So you cannot start twisting things. Now before you begin engaging with the community, proper training in statistical methods is very important. Some people, they will open a consulting shop with very little knowledge. I guess you can do that. Maybe you are a Dumbo and start a consulting company, but hire brilliant people. So you have no idea what statistics, but you have the money. So you are able to create an office. But then the people who are providing consulting, they should be experts. And generally, you do need a PhD degree. For example, I don't know how it is in Pakistan or India. Actually, in India, one day I was talking to a High Court judge, and she's now Chief Justice of the Kashmir High Court, and she said that President in our country, judges make decisions based on anecdotal evidence, not based on scientific evidence. And I was trying to share with her some of my courtroom dramas, and she said something like that doesn't happen. A scientific presentation of evidence is somewhat uncommon. In India, probably in Pakistan, also the same thing. I don't know if you have seen any cases in courts where somebody is presenting scientific evidence. Maybe it doesn't happen. Some of my cases where the groundwork is done by a non-PhD. But that non-PhD cannot take the stand because the judge or the court, there's an expectation that the person who is taking the stand and presenting the case is an expert. Now, who is an expert? PhD gives you that card that I'm the ultimate expert. Even though, not all PhDs are equal. One time, a cynical administrator in India proposed that PhD degree should be granted for a limited time. So you get your PhD, it's valid for 5 years, like your driver's license for 10 years. You need to get it renewed. Then are you really worthy of continuing to call yourself a doctor? So the point I'm making is that not only you should have a PhD, you should be worthy of carrying that tag. University should recognize and reward consulting service provided by faculty. It takes time. I think those who are running consulting centers, you ask them, it takes time. And if when the time comes for your promotion or your tenure, and all that work goes waste, then I think it will be unfortunate. The university should recognize that contribution. Data literacy, I think data is everywhere, so everybody knows that. When you begin to educate your children about data, educate them very early. High schools, I don't know about here, but in America, pretty much all high school curriculums will have a statistics course. यहाँ पे high school में statistics का course होता है, required होता है या नहीं है? होता ही नहीं है. So, I think जैसे ये कहना कि computer education जरूरी नहीं है, it's a crime actually. It's a crime not to have a computer education in a school. So there should be. Similarly, there should be a course on data also. Let me something a little controversial here. I think there's a movement in India, and the movement is modernizing the madrasas. Now, different people will read different things into that attempt by the Modi Sarkar. But I think what Modi is trying to do is that you teach whatever you want to teach, the religion, education, everything. But why shouldn't computers be taught in a madrasa? Why shouldn't science be taught in a madrasa? After all, those students are students. They will be eventually, they're not all going to become religious leaders. So the point is that this literacy should be there. Graduate degrees in statistics, there should be a course on statistical consulting. यहाँ पे बहुत लोग बैठे हुए हैं अपने डिपार्टमेंट में आपके नूर and others. Is there a course on statistical consulting in your master's degree, PhD degree?
No. We haven't been able.
So you should have. Those who don't, I think you should, if you're giving a degree in statistics, master's degree, and the student never took a course on statistical consulting, it doesn't add up. I always tell my students that the best course I took in my entire graduate career was a course on statistical consulting. Now, it's not a very structured course, but you make an attempt and you can continue to kind of modernize it. But a course on consulting, Asfa, you were saying something?
Yeah, we are going to introduce it.
You're going to introduce, you don't have it yet, right? So do it, and if you need my help, I can send you like our syllabus, like we have a course, STS 668. You can go to the website and see like what we do in that course. But the art of consulting, it should be taught as a part of all statistics degrees. All statistics graduates, they ought to be able to communicate statistics. How do you communicate statistics? मीन मीडियन नोट तो आपने निकाल लिया, अब उसको कम्युनिकेट आपने करना है एक लेमैन को. How do you communicate that? Actually, American Statistical Association has a special fellowship, and the fellowship is given to someone who shows the exemplary skills in communicating statistics. आपने p value निकाल ली, अब ये p value है क्या? कंप्यूटर ने तो p value आपको निकाल के दे दिया, p value is 0.023. What is that now? एक मेरा कोर्ट केस था पीछे, तो when you're doing research, the idea is what? What is research? Research is something which is different from status quo. The null hypothesis is the status quo. This is the current level. What is the alternative hypothesis? The research hypothesis is something new. And the p-value should be very small. A small p-value means you reject the null hypothesis and therefore your research will be supported. So we got a p-value of 0.032 in that case. And the professor on the other side, I was arguing that, so the p-value is 0.032, this is small, therefore null hypothesis should be rejected. And this other professor, he threw a curveball, and it was a female professor, and then again in a courtroom. You cannot go too hard on female professors because the judge will get very upset that this guy is condescending and he doesn't respect women. But again, being woman is one thing, being wrong is something different. So this female professor was saying that the threshold for a two-sided test for p-value is 0.5. But for a one-sided test, it is 0.25. Therefore, this professor's p-value of 0.32 is not small, it is actually large. उसने तो बोल दिया, जज ने सुन भी लिया. Now what do? How do you counter that argument? अच्छा, ये even जो 5% p-value के एक threshold बना रखी है, ये कहाँ लिखी हुई है? कहाँ पे प्रूव किया हुआ? कोई प्रूव नहीं किया हुआ ये. एक प्रैक्टिस चली आ रही है. So then what do? And I told the judge that, Your Honor, I've been teaching PhD level mathematical statistics for many years. And many of my students have become professors now. This is the first time in my life I'm hearing an argument that for one-sided test, the threshold should be 0.25. But then again, what can I say? My learned colleague feels this way. I don't feel that way. And I think they just got the message that she's just trying to push, the envelope a little too far. Establish statistical consulting center on university campuses. Every campus should have a statistical consulting center. And one thing I often hear is,